Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Disreputable podcast. Thanks so much for listening. This week, we are going to take a look back into season 2. A few weeks ago, we did season 1 with Dyrell, one of our most populated podcasts we have done. This week, we're diving into season 2. It's called Think Big. I'm so excited for you to hear it. Maybe season 3 is the first time you've ever heard of the Disreputable podcast. We have almost 25 to 30 episodes you should go back and listen and watch. But this throwback is to season 2, Think Big. I hope you enjoy. Hey, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of Disreputable podcast. My name is Brandon, and I am the co-host with my friend, Dean Curry.
Yeah.
And
thank you guys for watching. It's great to be back, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people,
looking forward to this.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking, waiting, and so here we are. So some people are listening on iTunes. Some people found out that we now have a YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're really excited about all the things. We also have an Instagram that will be uploading some little clips and then pointing everybody to our YouTube channel. So
I think it helps if people on iTunes can rate us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us a 5-star or whatever, it helps out.
Totally.
And share.
Yeah, I think last year we had an enormous amount of shares.
Really good.
Yeah, people were constantly sharing and so hopefully the disreputable idea is really making an impact in people's lives.
Yeah. This Disreputable is about what we do after we hit the bottom. This library is full of books, Brandon.
Right.
By people, these aren't just victory stories.
Right.
These are stories about people that have had bad defeats.
Right.
They've accumulated enemies, a few losses. Very few people go undefeated in life.
Right.
And so last night I got a call from a friend whose niece now has been diagnosed with bone cancer.
Right.
Have another friend going through a divorce. I know a dear friend who went through bankruptcy. Life happens,
Yeah, absolutely.
And our reputation gets trashed.
Right.
That's certainly happened to me. I know you feel like it's happened to you.
Right.
But we're overcomers. We're people of faith.
Right.
And so we believe that we're more than conquerors, better than, more and better than our worst moment.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is about, helping people become overcomers, become great human beings.
Yeah. It's easily to be misunderstood.
For sure.
I think when you think about being disreputable or your reputation being tarnished, a lot of it comes from you stepping out, you doing something that no one else mentioned. These books, these authors, a lot of them have created a new idea or they've done something that people said was impossible. Right. And it's funny how at one point it feels like disreputable or a bad reputation, but then over time it becomes a hero.
Well, that's the
you become heroic.
Right. And from zero to hero is a great storyline.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day about David Mamet, the great screenwriter. And I was telling you that every great story has Act 2. And in Act 2, that's when the hero loses it all. And you think, whether it's an epic movie like Gladiator or Braveheart, or if it's a simple, more simple premise. Yeah. There's a point where you don't think the hero is going to make it.
Right.
All the odds are against them, and yet somehow, that's what makes life great.
Yes.
Is the fight.
Yes,
and that's what this podcast is about. Yeah, helping you walk with us as we overcome, as we learn and grow, and we become more than just our worst moment or what the social media thinks of us.
Yeah, and then in the episodes to come, we're going to have special guests and talk about all sorts of topics. One of the things that we want people to do is when you go to Instagram, you can go to the Disreputable podcast and then inbox us, DM us with some topics that you would like to talk about. We've gotten probably a handful already that in the first 5 or 6 episodes, we're going to have guests and talk about those different topics. But people can, it's like, if you have questions, how do I get a hold of you guys? That's going to be the best way to do it. And then what we'll do is, depending on the the DMs that we get, we'll just take a list or so, and then we'll just brainstorm and bring them up over the next few episodes.
Looking forward to it. Definitely send us questions, because we'd love to end each episode with some questions.
Yeah. I think one of the things we should do is movie critiques, and
happy to do it.
I could, bring my movies.
Brandon has the worst taste in movies ever, so I think I'll be doing all the movies.
The Act 2 that he's talking about came from a conversation of one of my great movie picks. We won't talk much about that, but hey, let's talk today about thinking big.
Right.
When I think of Dean Curry, one of the biggest things that you have challenged me, encouraged me, empowered me in those areas is to think big. Some people would say outside of the box, and then some people would say, no, it's actually inside. I'm not talking about parameters. I'm talking about, like, in your mind, just seeing a situation and just thinking the best, thinking big in that scenario. Where did that come from for you? Because there might be people watching and they hate their job, they hate their current situation, and it's very easy to just become a turtle, get in your shell, and just, hibernate for the next 9 months. Or you can look at a situation that might seem terrible, a situation that might not be the best, and you think about it differently.
Right.
For you, was this something that when you were younger that you just, this is like who you were your whole life? Or did you grow into it as an adult?
Well, first of all, thank you for the nice compliment.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
a nice thing to say. And I think it's super important for people that are in the season where they feel like they're defeated or disreputable or whatever, because accepting things as they are, especially if what they are ain't good,
right,
is gonna keep you stuck in a place that you're not happy with. No, I didn't grow up in a home like that. Right. I got church was really the first time I ever saw people that were thinking about the world. So one thing I tell young parents is get your kids in a church, because where else?
Right.
Even if you're not sure about the belief system, where else are people talking about India and China and caring about people other than who lives in the house?
Yeah.
So I developed mentors in that circle that were thinking big thoughts, and it really started rubbing off on me. You and I are having a latte.
Right.
Somebody named Howard Schultz found one little coffee shop in Seattle that was doing something different, and he said, "What if?" That's all big thinking is.
Okay.
Is saying, what if people knew how good this was,
right?
And he just did the math, right?
Right.
And he started this process that's now all over the world. I mean, when I'm in New Delhi, you and I have had this coffee in the New Delhi airport.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And all over the world.
Right.
So
how much of it is risk factor?
Yeah, you have to build up a muscle of risk tolerance, because one thing the masses are good at is keeping you where you're at, because you're always going to have friends go, well, hey, Brandon, what if this and what if that? And
totally.
What if this is what our brain does. And we need to think through options. But even to get out of your home, look at most of the people you went to where'd you go to high school?
Cleveland High School, Cleveland, Tennessee.
Most of the people are still in Cleveland.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
What was it in you that got you to a different part of the country in a different line of work? Because most people you went to high school with aren't serving other people and building communities either. Yeah,
that's a tricky question. I think it's a two-part answer for me. One of it would just be exploring. I'm an explorer. I love change. I like new scenarios. Funny thing is, I never knew about Tacoma. I mean, I had heard of Seattle. Of course, I knew about the West. And then the reason why people went west, I grew up in the South, religious Bible Belt. Right. I never fit the mold of the church kid, the black sheep, if you will. But the whole time I was raised in a great house with great parents that were implementing Jesus, but for some reason it was being translated as religion in the church environments. So tattoos, I had earrings. Of course, I made some decisions that didn't follow what Jesus would do.
Right.
But, you know, once again, I came to grips when I was about 20 and just kind of decided for myself that I wanted something different.
Right.
I knew it was bigger.
Yeah.
I knew it was that there was something else out there.
That's the beginning. And so for people that are listening or watching, I would say when you get a label like black sheep,
Yeah, totally.
what that means is, I'm going to relabel that and call that distinctive. And everybody makes money. You get ahead on being distinctive. Starbucks isn't number one because they're just like Folgers. I know maybe the name Folgers doesn't mean anything to you.
No,
when I was growing up,
Yeah.
if you wanted coffee was the thing you got in a tin can and your grandma made it.
It's
Right?
the best part of waking up.
Right. Okay, so that's the world that this was created in.
Right.
And this guy says, this is $4.
Right.
The whole can probably, I don't know, was $4
Sure.
of Folgers. And he said, this cup is $4 because it's different.
Right.
So thinking bigger is realizing what other people label as black sheep, I label as interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that's when I think of disreputable, that's what I think of. I think of people that are misunderstood almost their whole life.
For sure.
But I mean, I'm just going to say, it seems like to me, most of the time, the people that are the most misunderstood are the people that make the most impact.
I believe it.
In life.
Doesn't T.D. Jakes say that's taking our test and making it our testimony?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's what we believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that, and you do as a person of faith.
Yeah.
So just being able to say, maybe what other people are labeling as a problem is actually the answer.
Right.
I mean, if most people were getting great results, we should copy them. But most people aren't getting great results.
Right. Right.
And I read a great sentence years ago that said, in order for things to stay the same, they're going to have to change. And this is I know it's a paradox.
Right.
But what it means is, in order for you to stay fit, healthy,
Right.
you're going to have to change. You're going to have to work out more in order to stay the same.
Right. Absolutely.
You're going to have to, in order to be relevant,
Right.
and stay with now, you got to get into the future.
Right.
In order to provide yourself, you're going to have to make more, not less.
Right.
And everything great comes with more. You know, most people want enough money. I don't want enough money. I want more than enough money.
Right.
Because more than enough is how I help kids in Africa.
Right.
Everybody right now is talking about fires in Australia.
Right.
Yeah, enough doesn't do it. We need more than enough.
Right.
Because I can't give you if I only have enough.
Yeah.
If you have enough time, you can eat. But I want more than enough time to do what I need to do. So I got to create space in my life so that I have space to give to you, to other great endeavors.
Right.
If every minute's taken, then I don't have enough.
Yeah.
So this kind of thinking, most people are in a scarcity, what I call scarcity. You've heard it other places.
Sure.
It says, what if other people want to take from me? Another way to look at that with more of an abundance mindset says, what if what I have is valuable to other people? Right?
So scarcity is almost like I take this little cup and I think this is the only bit of coffee I'm ever going to have.
Yeah, so you don't want to share it with me.
So I don't want to share it with you, but I don't realize that there's a Starbucks down the street, there's open container.
Right.
So this is a silly analogy, but people do that every day in their life.
They just thoughtlessly are living in scarcity. This is actually a great example because I didn't ask for this coffee. You brought it for me. Okay? So you walked in today and you spent $3 or $4 on something I didn't ask for.
Sure.
So here's how most people think about that. Dean's got enough money. Maybe I should just get one for me. I don't even know if he wants it. And, I could use that money. And what if he doesn't pay me back?
Yeah.
And all of these are scarcity thoughts that could go through. And if you had walked in and had a cup of coffee for yourself and not for me, it would have been fine.
Yeah, sure.
But your thinking was different. It was abundance thinking. Says, okay, I'm going to be able to have more money.
Sure.
More money's coming.
Yeah.
I love Dean. I want him to know I care about him. I want to do a nice gesture. And you were trying to create a great environment for our podcast.
Yeah.
So you extended yourself. You took your money. You invested in me. I received it. Made me feel great. It cements our bond. And now we have a virtuous cycle going.
Wow.
You know, because you were thoughtful enough to stop and include me out of the generosity of your paycheck and your resources in order to think about me and what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That is powerful.
But people who live all day going, hey, he's got to take care of himself. The guy can get his own coffee.
Right.
That kind of thinking, it just closes doors.
Right.
When we talk about thinking larger, we just want ideas that open doors.
Yeah.
What if questions?
Okay, so let's give maybe a couple practicals.
Okay.
I know we're going to try to keep this in a time frame, but maybe because I think there's business owners that are watching this and listening to this. There are stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
There's college students. So let's hit maybe those three little pockets. Business owner, stuck, owns a business, feels like they have a glass ceiling, a lid.
Mm-hmm.
Is there what would be one thing that you could say to that business owner that maybe could just put it a little bit higher or expand their thinking just a little bit to dream big?
Yeah.
Think big.
Well, I would say you probably need to re-examine and come up with a creative way of rethinking what business you're in. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
I own a facility, or I rent a facility next to a restaurant. Okay?
Okay.
And this facility that I own has a lot of people in and out, a lot of cars around. And this restaurant doesn't like that some of the people that are visiting the facility I use is parking in their parking lot, okay?
Okay.
So they put signs up saying, don't park here.
Do not park here. Yeah.
Right. So, because they think they need space for people that want their product, but they're not in the food business. They're in the people business, feeding people business.
So if they specialize in making smoothies,
Correct.
they're like, hey,
Don't park here if you're not going to buy a smoothie. Instead of saying, all these people that are parking here could buy a smoothie.
right.
So
Perfect.
I've said to people like, hey, if I owned that restaurant,
Right.
I would make up flyers and put them on every window and say, before you leave, come in and buy a smoothie.
Yeah.
Half off for everybody that's visiting. If you're a customer of Dean's business over there,
Yeah.
then half off for you today.
Right. Thinking big.
Because that's like all these people are potential customers. These are people that they
Absolutely.
could be here buying my smoothies.
Right.
Instead, they're not taking your spot.
Right.
They're coming by your business.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the Chinese have this idea for chaos for opportunity, that it's chaos, the symbol for chaos, and the symbol for opportunity. Make one word, right?
Okay.
It's this word that says possibility.
Huh.
And this is what happens. Opportunity comes from problems.
Chaos and opportunity
I'm
come
saying
together.
I'm mangling it.
Okay.
But with the Chinese language, they're made up of different symbols.
Sure.
And this idea of opportunity is that crisis is part of opportunity.
Nice. Yeah.
And the symbol for crisis is in the word opportunity.
Cool.
Because every time you have a problem, people are taking your parking spots. If you just say, what's here?
Right. Yeah.
I went through bankruptcy. I just had a friend who just got out of rehab, and he's been struggling. And the other day he said to me, you think I should do a podcast on helping people through addiction? I'm like, that's it.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we do.
For sure.
Disreputable in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
Addict.
Going through it. I think that's a good point, because I think a lot of people think, I'll do it when I get to the other side.
But it's just an illusion.
Right.
You're never there.
Yeah.
You're waiting for everybody to give a thumbs up.
Right. You'll always be in process in somebody's eye. Yeah.
Okay, now you do it for single moms. You mentioned single moms. How would we do that?
Oh, I think if you're not careful, you get boxed in.
Yeah.
I just think you
It's
know
about that house and keeping the house clean.
Yeah, and so then you limit it. It almost labels you. I'm a stay-at-home mom, or for some people, a stay-at-home dad, or whatever. I think if we're not careful, we label ourselves. People aren't labeling us. I think we are labeling ourselves. So I would think we take the limits off. I would say to my wife at one point, she was a stay-at-home mom. Her dream was to be a mom. And she's a mom. She stayed at home for a while, and now she's evolving.
Right.
And now she wants to be something else. So I would say the idea that you have that you want to be something doesn't have to be that for the rest of your life.
That's for a season.
You can evolve. You can be a stay-at-home mom for a season, and then for her, she can be an Alaska flight attendant in this next season. And will she be that for the rest of her life? Maybe.
Yeah.
But she also might be a fashion designer because she loves fashion. Right. The other day she wrote a blog for a friend that she has on fashion. So there's all these other things and ideas that could come. So I think if you label yourself, I think that's where you mess up.
And I would say to anybody, I know we got to close our time, but I would say to anybody who's kind of restless, that's just our spirit. This is in Dean's language.
Right.
That's your spirit telling you it's time to grow in order to stay the same.
Right.
In order to be you got to expand. Reagan sees the world differently now.
Right.
It's okay. I heard somebody say, and I'll say this in closing, then I'll let you wrap it up. Okay. They found out why beavers chew wood. And they chew wood because their teeth itch.
Wow.
It's kind of a funny little thing.
Right.
But the only way their teeth stop itching is that they start chewing on wood. Right. Mm-hmm. So I connect that to my spirit. That when I start getting restless in my spirit, that's my cue that I need to get a bigger world.
Yeah.
It's restlessness. Don't label it depression. Go to the doctor and get a pill for it.
Right.
Just go, hey, time to grow, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time for a bigger house.
Yeah.
For a bigger life.
Right.
Time for a new adventure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. And I think there are little things that people can do. For instance, going on walks.
Yeah.
I know it's like, oh, here we go with the nature thing. But you'd be surprised what being outside for 30 minutes.
Make a new friend.
Visit a new place to eat. There's little things you can do that you don't have to have this, I need a new car.
For sure.
Or max out my credit card.
Get a new magazine subscription. Something you've never done before. Just mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you can already tell that this season of our Disreputable podcast, is going to be great. So thanks for listening. Share. Tell somebody that you know. Next episode is going to be great too. We love you so much. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Well, what did you think? I told you it was a good one. We're grabbing back into some of the archives because they're so good and maybe you missed them. That was the very first episode of season 2. Next week is the last episode of season 3, next Friday. Make sure you tune in. How you will know is if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get an update. I'm telling you, you're going to love the way we end this. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Like always, never forget to subscribe, share, hit the like button, share it with a friend. Thank you so much for being a dedicated listener, maybe even a watcher to our Disreputable podcast. We love you so much. Next Friday, grand finale, Disreputable Season 3.